Hello, my name is Paolo Mercado. I'm the head of Ogilvy's behavioral science practice in Asia. I'm here to share with you my experience with behavioral observation and why I think marketers should be relying less on survey questions and much more on observation to unlock hidden growth opportunities. I just wanted to share a little bit about my background. I actually started in advertising when I was 9 years old. Having been a child endorser for chewing gum and other products at that time. And I developed this passion for advertising, communications, and marketing. I went on to study psychology, and I taught psychology and consumer behavior for about 4 years, while at the same time being an advertising strategist and planner. Later on, I moved into a marketing role for Nestle, where I was doing communications and consumer insight at the global level, and then later on as head of marketing for Nestle in the Philippines as well as in China. So overall, I had 25 years of applying consumer behavior insights for more effective marketing. And what attracted me to joining Ogilvy in this role for behavioral science last year was really this passion for understanding what works with consumers. And I'm inspired, like many of my colleagues, with this quote from David Ogilvy on really trying to understand people, and that the trouble with market research is that people don't think what they feel, they don't say what they think, and they don't do what they say. And it's the last part that I really want to share today on how that became very real for me in one of the cases that I had worked on. So this is a very simple case, and one that stood out for me, how we really need to understand and see what people do and not just trust in what they say. So this involved a very simple but iconic product of Nestea iced tea. Now in the Philippines, Nestea is a powdered beverage, so you mix it to be able to drink it. And in this particular case, the brand had a problem. The brand in 2004, 2005, it wasn't growing. While Nestea was the leader in its category, it was losing market share from other adjacent categories. So the brand team had the challenge of turning around the business. So how can we stimulate growth for Nestea? And at first, the brand team took a very rational, strategic marketing approach backed by market research data. So they went through retail audit. They saw that the adjacent category of powdered juice was growing in share. Powdered iced tea was declining in share. They came to the very rational conclusion that if powdered iced tea is to take share from the adjacent category, it needs to offer competitive product benefits. And we went the standard route of going through concept testing and looking at various ways to improve the formulation so that we could be more competitive in the powdered beverages market. And the concept that won out with high purchase intent and likability was adding 100% vitamin C into Nestea. And great, pre-testing said that this would work. Unfortunately, when the product was launched, it didn't make a difference. The decline in share was still continuing, and we were not making a dent on the powdered juice category. So there was really an opportunity for us to try something very different. And at that time, I was fortunate enough to have one of my insight managers studying her master's in anthropology at that time. And what she suggested was that, you know what, we're not really getting the insight from either the retail audit data or from concept testing. What if we just take a look at what people are actually doing? So what she said was, let's be like Sherlock Holmes. Let's visit the scene of the crime to understand what's happening. And that's what we set up as an insight project. We looked at not one household, but 3 types of households. A household that was consuming powdered juice regularly, and then Nestea households that would consume iced tea regularly. But then we also distinguished 2 types of Nestea households, a group that was light users, maybe 1 glass a day, and then another group that was taking much more in that household. And this is what we saw when we conducted these in-home interviews. First of all, that powdered juice was not a direct competitor, mainly because they were being used in very, very different occasions. So powdered juice tended to be morning with breakfast or light afternoon snacks, while iced tea was more lunch, dinner, and it was a heavy meal companion. In fact, if you looked at the behavior of iced tea usage, it was more similar to carbonated soft drinks, that it was really a heavy meal companion. And it was shared also with the family. The other thing, which was I think the game changer for us, is we saw that there was a huge difference also between light users and heavy users, because the light users were rule followers, whereas the heavy users were rule breakers. And what's the rule that I'm talking about? On every pack of Nestea at that time, there was a mixing instruction. Take 3 teaspoons of Nestea, put it in a glass, add ice, and enjoy. And that's exactly what the light users were doing. So that wasn't surprising. What was surprising for us is how the heavy users would do it. They didn't follow the instructions on the pack. They would take the whole bag, cut it open, pour it into a big pitcher, and then add ice, and then serve it with meals. It became a very convenient way for them to share Nestea with the family. And this wasn't just one household that we observed this. It was in every heavy user household in varying sizes and shapes of pitchers to be able to serve Nestea to their family during meals. So this one really was the one that unlocked a hidden opportunity for our team. So we decided, let's not approach this only with an ingredient innovation. Let's look at changing behavior from mixing by the glass to mixing in bigger sizes. We enabled it with an innovation, designing an iconic Nestea pitcher that was designed to fit easily into a refrigerator, and then also reinforced that with advertising. And we made the product, the new packaging and pitcher available through promotional through in-store promotional offers. So this one worked. We hit double-digit growth not only in the first year, but for several years thereafter. And in fact, what had happened in hindsight now, knowing the behavioral science principles, is that we had increased the capability of people to adopt a new behavior with the pitcher. We motivated them with the advertising, and we gave them the opportunity to actually enact that behavior through the promotional items that we distributed. And what had happened was, after years of declining share and no growth, we doubled the business within 3 years. So for me, this was a pivotal experience to really start paying more attention to observing what people do, not only in-home in consumption, but also in shopper behavior and in many other behaviors to unlock behavioral opportunities. And I'd like to end this short sharing with let's say, a modified quote from Daniel Kahneman, who said that economists think about what people ought to do, while psychologists watch what people actually do. And I'll change one word to that, is that marketers tend to also think about what people ought to do. And marketers should adopt a behavior similar to psychologists and watch what people do. Go beyond retail audits, go beyond concept testing, watch what people do, and perhaps through that, we can unlock the hidden opportunities for brand growth. So with that, thank you very much for allowing me to share during Nudgestock, and happy nudging, everyone.
Just one favor, if you want to keep Nudgestock free, click the like button, because the algorithm likes it, and click the subscribe button too. The algorithm likes that, and unlike the like button, it's actually useful, because you'll get notified of future content from Nudgestock whenever it becomes available.